Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. We are from Group 7. We'll present about multicultural manners, new role of communication. Before that, let me introduce our members. There are Anin Widyasari, me, Lailatur Rizqiyah, and Hazahra Nursabila Putri. The first material about body language will be presented by me. So, body language is a form of nonverbal communication that uses body movements, facial expressions, and posture to help us express emotions and intentions, sometimes even more effectively than words. However, what the gestures mean in one culture may have a completely different meaning in another. For example, a simple nod or handshake might seem universal, but in some cultures, this gesture can be interpreted differently. That's why understanding body language is crucial, especially when interacting with people from diverse backgrounds. The first is head movements. Head movements usually used to express agreement or disagreement. In most cultures, nodding means yes and shaking the head means no. However, in Albania and Bulgaria, it's the opposite. Shaking the head from side to side actually means yes, while nodding means no. Meanwhile, in southern India, people tilt their heads to one or both sides to show agreement. And in many South Pacific islands, simply raising the eyebrow is a way to say yes. Yes. The second one is high five and hand gestures. A high five is seen as a friendly and casual greeting in Western cultures. In Western cultures, a high five is a friendly, celebratory gesture used to express excitement. But in some places, it might be unfamiliar or even inappropriate. In some Asia and Middle Eastern cultures, it might not be a familiar gestures or could seem too informal in professional settings. For example, in Japan, excessively physical gesture, especially in a formal environment, might be seen as too casual or even rude. Similarly, with OK sign, where you form a circle with your thumb and index fingers has different meanings. In some countries, like the US, it means everything is fine, but in Brazil and Turkey, it considered offensive and can be interpreted as obscene gestures. And in some parts of Europe and Middle East, it may be seen as an insult similar to showing the middle finger. The third one is physical contact. In a lot of Asian countries like Korea, Japan, and countries with a big Muslim population, people usually avoid touching in public, especially between men and women, because of culture and religion. On the other hand, Western cultures are generally more open to casual physical contact like handshake, high five, and pats on the back. However, personal space and boundaries can still vary from person to person, so it's always best to be mindful. The next is greeting styles. Different cultures also have different ways of greeting, right? In Japan, people bow instead of shaking hands. Their hands stay at their side or side down to their knees, and they look down. In India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, people use the Namaste greeting, putting their hands together in a prayer-like position with a side nod. Meanwhile, in Muslim and Orthodox Jewish communities, men and women who are not family members usually don't touch each other when greeting. Instead, they use salam and as a respectful gestures like this. On the other hand, people cultures prefer physical greetings. Like in America and many Western countries, people shake hands, pat each other on the back, or even hug. In Latin America, people greet with a abrazo, a hug combined with pats on the back. In France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, kissing both cheeks is common. In the Middle East, men often greet each other with cheek kisses or hugs as a sign of friendship. Even something as simple as a smile can have different interpretation. For example, like in Japan, people often avoid smiling in official photos like ID cards or passports because it can seem unprofessional or inappropriate. In Korean, smiling too much, especially in serious situations, might be seen as shallow or insincere. While in Western cultures and Indonesian cultures as well, smiling is generally seen as friendly, approachable, and positive. The next is eye contact. Eye contact also has cultural differences. In Western cultures, direct eye contact is often seen as a sign of confidence and honesty. However, in some Asian and America indigenous cultures, avoiding direct eye contact can be sign of respect, especially when speaking to elder or authority figures. So it means that body language is powerful, but its meaning can be widely between cultures. By understanding these differences, we can communicate better and avoid misunderstandings. The next material will be explained by Hazahra.
I am Hazahra Nursabila Putri, and here I will explain about the material child rearing practices and classroom behavior. Okay, the next topic is child rearing practices. Child rearing practices vary widely across cultures as different societies hold distinct beliefs about independence, discipline, and family roles. Some cultures emphasize close family bonds and interdependence, while others prioritize individualism and self-reliance. This difference shapes how parents raise their children and what they expect from them as they grow. Number one is independence. In American culture, children are encouraged to be independent from a young age. As they reach adulthood, they are expected to move out and support themselves financially. Parents often prepare their children for this transition by teaching them practical life skills such as cooking, budgeting, and decision making. In contrast, in Colombian culture and many other Latin American countries, it is common for children to continue living with their parents well into adulthood. Families believe in strong intergenerational support, where parents continue to provide for their children, and children, in return, care for their parents as they age. Asking a family member to contribute financially to household expenses might be considered insensitive or unnecessary in such culture. Okay, number two, breast milk. Cultural beliefs about breastfeeding also differ across societies. In some Latino communities, for example, many people believe that a mother's emotions, such as anger, sadness, or stress, can negatively impact the quality of her breast milk. This belief leads some mothers to avoid breastfeeding when they feel emotionally unstable, fearing that their milk might harm their baby. Others believe that certain foods such as chili or garlic can change the taste of breast milk, making it unpleasant for the baby. Some communities even see colostrum or the thick nutrient-rich milk produced right after childbirth, as impure or unhealthy and refuse to give it to their newborns. However, from a medical standpoint, colostrum is highly beneficial for newborns, providing essential antibodies and nutrients. Okay, last is sharing the bed. The sleeping arrangement of children also vary widely between cultures. In many Asians, Middle Eastern, and Latin American culture, co-sleeping with family members is a common and accepted practice. Parents believe that sharing a bed with their children strengthens family bonds and provides emotional security. In some cases, multiple generations may sleep in the same room, reinforcing the sense of togetherness. However, in American and many Western cultures, parents encourage their children to sleep independently from an early age. Having separate rooms for children is considered essential for fostering independence and self-sufficiency. This difference in sleeping arrangement can sometimes create cultural misunderstanding, especially when immigrant families interact with Western childcare system that emphasizes the importance of children sleeping alone. Okay, the next topic is classroom behavior. Classroom behavior varies significantly across cultures and is shaped by how students are taught to interact with teachers, classmates, and authority figures. Some cultures place a strong emphasis on obedience and respect for teachers, while others encourage active participation and questioning. This cultural difference can sometimes lead to misunderstanding in diverse classrooms, particularly when students from more traditional educational background study in Western settings. Okay, number one is respect for teachers. In Taiwan and many other Asian countries, students show deep respect for their teachers. It is common for students to stand when the teacher enters the room with them in unison and only sit after receiving permission. When handing in assignments or documents, they often use both hands as a sign of respect. Additionally, avoiding direct eye contact with teacher is considered polite, as a prolonged eye contact can be seen as a challenge to authority. In contrast, in the United States, teacher-student relationships tend to be more informal. Students are encouraged to ask questions, challenge ideas, and engage in open discussion. This difference in classroom behavior can sometimes confuse students from culture where teachers are regarded as strict authority figures, making them hesitant to speak up in class. Okay, number two is teacher knows best. In cultures such as Jamaica, teachers are seen as the ultimate authority, and their decisions are rarely questioned by parents or students. Parents trust teachers to make the best choice for their children's education and generally do not interfere with school matters. In contrast, Western educational system often encourage parents to be actively involved in their child's education. Parents in the United States, for example, are expected to attend parents-teacher meetings, monitor their child's academic progress, and voice their concern when necessary. This cultural difference can sometimes lead to misunderstanding as teachers from traditional backgrounds might expect more difference while Western educators encourage more collaboration between teachers and parents. Okay, last is corporal punishment. In many Asian, Middle Eastern, and Latin American cultures, corporal punishment is still considered an acceptable form of discipline in schools. Teachers might use physical punishment such as hitting students' hands with a ruler or making them stand for long periods as a form of correction. Parents from these cultures often expect teachers to be strict and might even encourage disciplinary measures to ensure their children learn obedience. However, in Western countries, such as the United States, corporal punishment is illegal in school. Instead, teachers use alternative disciplinary approaches such as detention, behavioral intervention, or counseling. Immigrant parents who come from cultures where physical discipline is common may struggle to understand why teachers in Western schools are not allowed to punish students physically, leading to cultural misunderstanding. Okay, the next material will be explained by Mbak Anin.
My name is Anin Widyasari and my student ID is 001. Here I will explain about color, clothes, and jewelry. Special to clothes and jewelry, actually there are 12 manners that are explained in the ebook. But here I only will share 5 manners which I think people still rarely know. Okay, let's get to the list. The first is hats off? No. Religious clothing is an important part of many people's identities and beliefs. However, in some cases, people are refused to remove these items, which can be a form of discrimination. A good example of this is Dr. Singh, a Sikh man who was denied entry a nightclub in Pittsburgh because he refused to remove his turban. The club had a strict dress code and also banned Jewish yarmulkes. Dr. Singh explained that his turban is a secret of his faith, but the club refused to make an exception. Instead of accepting this discrimination, Dr. Singh took action. He reported the incident to a Sikh advocacy group called SMART. As a result, the nightclub management changed their policy in 2003 to allow religious head coverings. This case shows that discrimination can happen in everyday situation, but it also highlights the importance of taking action. By speaking up and advocating for change, people can help ensure that religious rights are respected. The second point is six-pointed stars. Many people associate the six-pointed star or Magen David with Judaism. However, this symbol has a much older history. Historically, six-pointed stars were used for protecting against evil spirits. Over time, they became a primary symbol of Jewish identity and faith. Interestingly, the six-pointed star is also linked to law enforcement. According to legend, in the 19th century, a Texas governor used a star-shaped ring as his seal on sheriff's department documents. This practice may have influenced the designs of modern sheriff badges. So, symbols can have multiple meanings across different contexts. It's important not to jump to conclusion about what they represent. Next is Santeria and glass-bead necklace. Santeria is a religion that originated from the Yoruba people of West Africa and later developed in the Caribbean. It blends Yoruba traditions with Roman Catholic influences. One of its key symbols is the glass-bead necklace, also known as collares. These necklaces have spiritual significances, with each color representing a specific orisha or deity in Santeria. However, There is a common misconceptions about Santeria. Due to misleading media portrayals, many people wrongly associate it with illegal or unethical practices. In reality, Santeria is a legal and moral religion. A key fact to note is that Santeria rituals, including animal sacrifices, are legally protected under US law. The 1993 Supreme Court ruling confirmed that these practices are part of religious freedom. Next slide is about modesty. In Thailand, wearing long clothes is a sign of modesty and respect. It's common for people, especially women, to dress in long sleeves and pants even in hot weather. But in the US, this can be misinterpreted. People may think someone is covering up signs of abuse. This shows how cultural differences can lead to misunderstandings. A similar issue happens with Muslim girls who wear hijabs. For them, it's part of their faith and identity. But unfortunately, some face bullying just because of the way they dress. Well, every culture has its own rules about clothing. Some are stricter, some are more relaxed. But no matter the difference, respect should always come first. What may seem strange to one person is meaningful to another. This is where teachers play a big role. Schools should be a place where students feel safe and accepted. If students are teased for their clothing, teachers should step in and create an environment of respect and understanding. So, modesty means different things in different cultures. Instead of judging others, we should take a step back, try to understand and respect their choice. After all, the way someone dresses is their personal expression, and that should always be valued. The last is kirpan. The kirpan is a small ceremonial sword that is one of the 5 keys of in Sikhism. Sikhs who are fully initiated must wear it at all times as part of their religious commitment. It's not meant to be a weapon but symbol of faith and a reminder to protect those in need. However, in California, a school banned students from wearing the kirpan, saying it was dangerous. They believed that allowing knives in school could be a safety risk. This led to a court case in 1994 where Sikh families argued that banning the kirpan violated their religious freedom. The court agreed and ruled that the school had to adjust its policies. Instead of banning the kirpan completely, they suggested that it should be blunted and secured in its sachets. This case highlights an important point. Danger is subjective. What seems threatening to one person may be a sacred symbol to another. It's a reminder of the need for understanding and respect when it comes to religious beliefs. The next topic is about color. The first is green hats. In Chinese culture, green is associated with health, prosperity, and harmony. This can be seen in the popularity of jade, which symbolizes good luck and wealth. However, there is an exception: green hats. For many Chinese people, a man wearing a green hat means his wife or his girlfriend is unfaithful. Because of this, most Chinese men avoid wearing green hats to prevent misunderstanding or embarrassment. Next is the use of red ink when writing names. In some cultures such as Korea, Chinese culture, and parts of Mexico, writing a person's name with red ink is associated with death. Traditionally in Korea, red ink was used to record the names of the deceased, which is why many people feel uncomfortable when they see their name written in red. This belief is not limited to personal use. It also affects business and professional settings. For example, in some Asian countries, invitation printed in red ink may be considered inappropriate. An employee may avoid signing important documents with red pen. Because of this, if you are working with ASEAN clients or international partners, it's best to avoid using red ink for names in official documents, invitations, or signatures to prevent any unintended negative connotations. Next point is the color light blue in Russian. In Russian, the word for light blue or goluboy is not just a color. It is also commonly associated with being gay. This can lead to misunderstandings, especially for non-native speakers who are unaware of the connotation. This shows that words can carry cultural meanings beyond their literal definition. When learning a new language, it's important to understand not only vocabulary but also the cultural context behind words. Next color is white and black. In China, white does not always mean purity. Instead, it is linked to mourning and death. For example, in funeral, grieving families often wear white clothes and a white hat is a symbol of mourning. Because of this, wearing white at celebration or happy events may be seen as inappropriate. This shows that color meanings are not universal and should be understood within cultural contexts. For instance, in Western cultures like the United States and the United Kingdom, white symbolizes purity and happiness, which is why brides usually wear white dresses. However, in same cultures, such as in India and China, wedding guests wearing white may be seen as bringing bad luck to the couple. Similarly, in Chinese culture, black, just like white, is also associated with death. Black is often used in funeral and represents mourning. Because of this, wearing black to wedding is seen as inappropriate, as it carries the same meaning of sadness and loss. The last color topic is yellow text. An American company used yellow text to show that their product had passed inspection. However, Chinese customers felt uneasy because in their culture, yellow is used to mark defective products. When customers asked the company to change the text to green, since green means high quality in their culture, the American company refused. Yellow was their standard, so they didn't want to change it. This decision created a financial risk because it affected customer trust. This case shows how important it is used to understand color symbolism in global business. Something as simple as label color can impact product acceptance in different markets. Companies that want to succeed should be aware of culture differences and be willing to adapt.
So that's all from us. Thank you for your nice attention. If there are any question, please write the questions and mention your name in the comment below. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.